You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible.
And welcome everybody, and wow, we are live. And what a huge week in professional wrestling. Can you believe it? AEW making a splash like no one else's mother, like she was making a birthday cake for her son on a Sunday. I couldn't believe it. Here we are, Big Vito LaGrasso with his co-host with the most, David Stallworth, Mr. Virtue. I know you were stream watching. You lucky son of a bitch. I'm telling you. I like it. How's everything going, my man?
It's going good, Vito, man. I hope everything's going good with you. And I'm glad we're recording this because we're hot off of AEW Double or Nothing. And I'm telling you what, man, it was a very, very good wrestling show. But I still wonder how it's changing the world. Other than it's more employment from a different company that wrestlers can get. I get that. That's cool. But I've seen wrestling shows equally as good.
All right, we will get to all that.
Oh.
First, like we always do on Getting Color, we talk sports. And congratulations to the Toronto Raptors for advancing to the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors. Now, Virtue, did you happen to watch the series?
Yeah, and it was Kawhi Leonard, who is an awesome player. Now, I don't know what happened with him in San Antonio. We know when he won a championship, he had Tim Duncan still. He had Manu Ginobili. But he was the Finals MVP. He was also in an era of when the Golden State Warriors started rising in the West. I don't know what his relationship with the Spurs ended up turning into, but the fact is this guy's a baller, Vito. He went to Toronto. Now, yes, LeBron James is not in the East anymore. He went to 8 consecutive finals,
right.
But he only won a couple of them, by the way. Now the East was wide open for a new player, and I heard Philadelphia. I heard the Greek Freak in Milwaukee, but yet Kawhi Leonard led a Toronto Raptors team to the finals. You know why, Vito? He's a great player. He should have been on the first All-NBA team, not the second. I don't know what Skip Bayless's beef is with him, but Kawhi Leonard is equally as great on the defensive end as he is on the offensive end. That's a rare commodity in the NBA, and there's stats to back that up.
All right, now, okay, but what do you say for Klay Thompson, who got left off the thing? And that guy's went to 5 straight NBA finals, and the guy's sitting at home, and he lost $30 million. He's not a super max contract.
Well, let me ask you this. Why in the hell is LeBron James on the third team? Just because he's LeBron James? The thing with Klay, he's on that stacked team, and they had Curry, Durant.
It doesn't matter how many people you got on that.
But I'm saying, though, that's whoever picks these, that's probably why he got left off. You're right. I think Klay should be on one of those 3 teams. He's an awesome player.
I mean, Kemba Walker had a great year. I mean, All-NBA team. I mean, he had a great year for a shitty team. Kyrie Irving, I mean, I think he's an All-NBA player. I mean, he's just not a winner without LeBron. And that is the truth.
Yeah, why is Chris Paul on that team and Klay Thompson's not? It's name
Chris
recognition.
Paul made the All-NBA team.
He was on one of the 3, I think.
No, I don't think. No.
No?
No, I don't think so.
I got to look that up. But
look it up because if he was all in on the All-NBA team, then we got a problem.
So anyway, what's your thoughts about the finals then? Who do you expect to win? I'm looking that up when you talk about this. Warriors, Raptors.
I think the Warriors are gonna do it without Durant, and I think it's gonna be a better played series because they don't have Durant.
Is he officially out the whole series, or is he
pretty much? I mean, he's got a deep calf strain, and you don't just come back from that. When you got a deep calf strain, you're really like almost tearing the muscle, and if you got a muscle tear in your calf.
All right, you're right, Vito. Chris Paul was not, but Blake Griffin was. Rudy Gobert was. Now, I know they got to pick positions, but Kyrie Irving, I just don't get it.
It discussed you that list, right?
Yeah. But no, at least you're right. Chris Paul did not make it.
Okay. So now I think that I think Draymond Green without Kevin Durant has elevated his game that if I had to pick a team, I would pick Draymond Green to be my everything point forward because he's just playing that awesome. I mean, the team is flowing much better without Kevin Durant out there.
That's a good point. And now that you mentioned Draymond Green, he did not make any of the 3 teams either.
No, because nobody considers him a top 15 player. Is he in the top 50? Yes. In the top 15? I don't know.
Oh, that's because he doesn't score a lot. And in order to be considered top 15, you got to score a lot. But he fills the stat sheet every night.
You know, they made a good comparison on a Stephen A. Smith show, and they said that Russell Westbrook shot 29% and less, and he made the team.
Because Russell Westbrook touches the ball every time down the court and he pads stats. He's like a Carmelo Anthony. He's a volume guy. So when you look at their stats, it's like, wow.
Yeah, but Paul George carried them because they did the comparison. They said Paul George carried that team. You know, Russell Westbrook is one of those guys who I don't think is going to win a championship because he's a me player, just like James Harden. He's not going to win a championship ever.
Like Allen Iverson never did?
Listen, Allen Iverson, look at Charles Barkley. There's another guy who's a great player. He just couldn't win it. But
Patrick Ewing. Yeah. Dude, I didn't. So Paul George made the first team. See, right. I thought Kawhi was better than George, but it's politics, Vito. I'm over it. Kawhi is in the finals. That's what matters.
Right. Kawhi is in the finals. Everybody else is sitting home. LeBron has really been sitting home.
Yep.
He's calling people. I think the best scenario for LeBron James is for him to get Kyrie Irving back. And if they're going to sign 2 max players, I would think they're going to sign Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving. And you put those guys together, you have a forward, you have a point guard, and you have a shooting guard. And I think with the rest of the Lakers, that will be the squad to beat next year.
You think Kawhi stays in Toronto now no matter what because they made the finals? Because I still think he's looking at L.A., one of the L.A. teams.
Well, the sister put something up on Twitter. Excuse me. Sister put something up on Twitter, and she had to erase it because, it put down that he was leaving. Now, I don't know, but it just didn't look too good.
Oh, could you imagine? Now, if they win the championship, that'll be a dilemma because it's hard to leave after you win a championship with the team, even if you want to. I could see him signing if they win it, I can see him signing a 1-year deal in Toronto. Just a 1 year. We'll see.
Maybe, but do you think Kevin Durant leaving and going to the Knicks?
Well, the Knicks need somebody.
No. This ain't about needing. This is about solidifying your legacy. If Kevin Durant goes to the Knicks and brings the Knicks to the finals or anything, I mean, does he have to go to win a championship to be the greatest player of all time?
On a team not stacked like the Warriors, I think so. If Durant goes to the Knicks, and they can bring in another player too, Kyrie Irving, whoever. And if the Knicks win a championship with Durant there, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
He will be better than LeBron.
The Knicks haven't won a title since 69 and 70.
Right. He'll be the Mark Messier of our era.
I want it, Vito. You want it. We're Knicks fans.
Now, but do you
look at my shorts?
Not
here. Got the New York Knicks logo on them.
Do you think that Durant coming here will be good? I mean, where else would Durant go besides the Knicks?
It has to be New York because I think that's where he could get the most money as an individual megastar. Anywhere else he's going to go just to win more championships instantly like super teams. But I think if he wants to go to try to make a difference to a team that needs it, still make the big bucks, it's New York or nothing. I will be shocked. If he doesn't go to New York, somehow he's staying in Golden State. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but how are they going to do that with Klay Thompson, also a free agent?
Maybe they'll do
Klay and Draymond Green.
They'll keep Draymond because of the defense, but I have a feeling if Durant stays, Thompson's gone. But who knows what'll happen? I think Durant's going. I think he got his title. I think he's leaving.
No, I would, if I was Durant, my next goal is to, they're never going to say he's better than LeBron. He's not even in the conversation of Jordan. So, I mean, his thing is, well, they try to compare LeBron and Jordan, and, it's apples and oranges. Jordan never cried.
Yep. Well,
and that's the truth.
He cried, like, not about basketball, other things when he cried, his divorce and all that other stuff. But, yeah, as a man on the basketball court, Jordan never showed fear, never showed adversity, played when he was sick, never made excuses. I watched it, Vito. He beat up on the Knicks for years, always went to the finals, 6 straight titles with that little break he had in between for baseball.
No, I hear you. Now, speaking of baseball, have you been catching the Mets and Yankees? The Mets have been tearing it up. They've been winning. They've been doing it with spare part players, guys hitting home runs as soon as they come on the team. Have you been catching that?
Are you talking the Mets or the Yankees?
Caught thunder in a bottle because he was on the firing block.
Are you talking about the Mets?
The Mets.
So I see the Yankees are winning their division, right? Now I got to check the Mets out. Their Mets are only 500, but have they been winning lately? I don't know.
They've won 6 out of 7 since last week. Since Mickey Callaway went into the owner's office, they said, "Listen, we can't have this," and they put him on notice.
Dude, they're in their division. They're only 4.5 back, and it's only May, almost June.
And what about the Yankees still being on top and the Yankees still winning at this clip?
Dude, what's shocking, I'm looking at the standings right now. Red Sox, right, the champs, they struggled out of the gates. They're only 28 and 25. Tampa Bay is right up there with the Yankees with that squad. Who do they got? Pitching?
Yeah, pitching, but they're not that bad of a team.
And the Twins. The Twins are awesome.
The Twins have been hammering the baseball, but I don't know if they're going to win.
Yeah, baseball's nuts, man. But you know how it goes. So many teams go on streaks. I don't really look at the pennant races until about August. About a couple weeks after the All-Star break, that's when I can really see what's happening. Because I've seen teams lose 9-game leads in September. The Mets did it to the Braves one year. Was it the Mets losing it to the Braves one year?
Yeah, Mets losing to the Braves. What about Orlando Cepedis breaking his foot right before he's about to come back? After he signed a 4-year, $110 million contract.
Yeah, the Mets.
And he's only played 119 games.
Dude, I'm telling you, and it's these injuries that it has nothing to do with baseball, did it?
No, he was on his ranch, stepped in a hole.
Sounds like I don't know. That's crazy when that stuff happens. Pitchers slicing their fingers and getting stitches. That's just weird.
You know what it is? I think everybody should go on the road, and I think everybody should stay with the team to stay out of harm's way.
That's true. Yeah, it's when they go home into their big mansions that they get injured doing their farm work.
All right, so that's our sports report, and now we get to the wrestling roundup. But before we go there was some controversy with the WWE this week on affidavits, people dying, the death of Ashley Mazzaro, who was a diva, who was a mom, a very nice young lady, somebody I work with, somebody I was friends with, and I just saw her like a couple months ago at a convention, and she died. She committed suicide by hanging herself. I think when you come to these points in your life, people, you have to look at, there's something going on upstairs. There's something traumatic. And when you ask for help and you're denied, and you say, something is wrong, my brain's not right, something's not clicking, and you're ignored, or you're not given the help you need, and these things happen, it's a pretty devastating thing, not only to that person's life, but their family, and if they happen to be a celebrity, the fans. How do you handle that? It's just a very, very sad thing. And especially when a company who wants to protect their corporate presence and place in business, and there are sworn affidavits and you call bullshit on them, just like you do with every other thing. And guys, you all know what I'm talking about. And I think it was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. And it made me ashamed to be a wrestler. When you see that after somebody passes away, I mean, how low can you possibly go?
Now, Vito, I have a couple questions for you. So this is clearly conglomerate, huge corporation doing damage control. And they know they can do it right now because Ashley's passed. So they're literally saying her affidavit's bullshit and she perjured, which, first of all, that should be a court to decide, not a company. But they're doing damage control because they're on the stock exchange and they want to protect their advertisers from bailing. And it's nuts.
Do you know that affidavit was done about a year and a half, 2 years ago?
WWE knew about it, right?
That's when they knew about it. So because she died, how do you say call bullshit now?
Yeah, and they're trying to make her look out like she lied and she was crazy. None of it was true. And supposedly there's this email floating around, according to WWE, that she apologized for all of that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Blah 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 blah. Where is this? Did WWE just say that she apologized, or is there actual? Did they present proof, screenshots, or anything, or did they just say this is what's driving me nuts with them? And people buy into it, like, because they're such a big corporation with high-priced attorneys. Oh, well, they have to know what they're talking about. Ashley was nuts. And that's what I hate. I defend WWE, Vito. You know me. It's become more than my gimmick on all my sites on Twitter that I'm like WWE loyalist. I give them the benefit of the doubt despite shitty creative. How do I defend them in this situation? It's like I don't even know what to say other than – maybe all this time I was never defending WWE. I just defended some of the talent that works there, like Roman Reigns and stuff, because I feel like crap right now.
And then I got to say, when all the ladies like Shelly Martinez and Lillian Garcia and Trish Stratus and all the ladies who worked with her made a fund and did a great thing by raising money, and then the next day WWE came out and said that she committed perjury. I thought that was the shittiest thing you could ever do. And you really want to know what grinds my gears? Then I got to freaking say this because it grinds my gears. Mick Foley is a piece of shit. You want to know why? Because he always tries to put himself in the mix. Hey, brother, I'll do this for you. If you want to go and you want to go on a trip or you want to go watch a show, and if you donate $5,000, I'll go with you. You know what? It's not about you. It's not about going on a trip. It's not about you going to watch a show. How about the time when you were begging people to pay for your surgery when you were commissioner in the WWE and you started a GoFundMe and you were supposed to have health insurance through the WWE because you're supposed to carry your own health insurance, and you go on there and say that you don't have any and you want the fans to pay for your insurance.
Isn't Mick? I mean, I see that's the thing. I kind of always liked Mick, so this is like a little bit of tension I'm feeling between you and I. But I get what you're saying here. And isn't Mick? He's a millionaire. I mean, he's made big money from books, not just wrestling. So that's crazy, Vito.
He's cheap.
Huh?
But how do you do what if you're gonna go out? Oh yeah, if you donate special added bonus for what? Why don't you just say, listen, guys, donate for a good cause, just like who would you rather go to dinner with Lillian Garcia, or would you rather go with friggin' Mick Foley?
Well, you're asking me. I'm a dude. Okay, Lillian Garcia, hands down, she's gorgeous, Vito.
Right. So then again, for all the ladies who did
that, Olive Garden too, not the Olive Garden.
Well,
I'll take her.
The point. for all the ladies and all their hard work and put together this stuff and do the videos, right? For the ladies to go out and say, hey, if you want to donate $5,000, I will go and meet you and watch a show with you and have dinner with your family and friends. Not one of those ladies did that because they're ladies. And here you have this jujutsu. Like, really? Who the fuck wants to go have fucking dinner with you?
Let me tell you this, Vito. Foley, look at there's damage. He has to have damage to his brain with all those headshots. And so I know I get your rant on him, but we're all, this is all the same cause of protect. Do you think Mick Foley is a little off of his rocker? He took some devastating shots in his career.
He has some things wrong. But what I'm saying is, he didn't make it about Ashley. He made it about himself doing something, wanted to put himself in the forefront. The ladies are the ones who did this. The ladies are the ones who could have said, hey, if you donate $5,000, pick one of us and we'll meet you or we'll go to do this. And it's all for the Ashley cause. No, he made it about himself. And me personally, if I had to go donate $5,000, I want to go sit with one of my buddies and I want to go sit and talk to one of my lady friends. I'm going to go sit in a restaurant with somebody and we're going to friggin' hobnob over the hardcore title. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but Mick still is going to donate either way, right? I get what you're saying, man. If he's still going to donate either way, right? Whether he's picked or not.
But guys, if somebody passes away, make it about the person. I mean, Mick Foley probably had good intentions. I'm not saying nothing. You know what? He probably did have good intentions, but don't make it about yourself, man. All right? It's not about, oh, yeah, for an added bonus. No, we don't want an added bonus. For an added bonus, I'd rather go sit and have lunch with Lillian Garcia or Trish Stratus or Lita or Shelly Martinez or any of the other lovely ladies. Candice, one of my favorites. I just can't, and especially after the 24/7 title you delivered, Mick, that was one hell of a speech. You couldn't believe you were putting over that shit even. You were wearing shot that you were doing it. You see what you do for money, Mick, and how stupid it makes you look?
Yeah, and I'll agree with you on that because he went to collect a paycheck, and yet he had to have known that was cringy. Remember we were talking about the European or the TV championship? Yeah. And no, they bring this gimmick out. For the catering line, Vito. It should be called the catering title.
Catering title. But Mick Foley, hardcore legend, guy who was brought it out of the woodwork. And you're standing there in the middle of a ring. Do you have any dignity? I mean, and especially after you took but what's the guy's name who does the penis flip?
Oh, Joey Ryan.
Joey Ryan. And when Mick Foley took a penis flip from Joey Ryan, really? Are you making money, Mick, or are you making a fool in a business? Have some dignity, man. Have some pride. You could talk to me about you're a god and whatever. I really don't give a shit. To be honest with you.
Man, did you ever wrestle Foley?
No. I'm glad I never did because he just grinds my gears the wrong way.
Interesting. And like I said, you have a better take on that than I do. I only see it from behind my phone, behind my computer screen, or my TV,
No, when guys, I can say a lot of things I just won't. It's not about him. And I just think have a better perception of what you're doing, Mick, because you'll come across a lot better with the people. And if somebody else dies, don't go rushing and saying you're going to do the same thing. How about make a concrete effort to do something positive? But, if you donate $5,000, so I got to donate $5,000. And then on top of it, I got to pay for your meal.
That's a good point, Vito. You know what it kind of reminds me of? You know how WWE is big into philanthropy, doing this Connor's Cure, Susan G. Komen, and all this stuff, and Make-A-Wish. But usually when companies do that type of stuff, they don't promote it that they do it. They let others recognize it. But they have to promote that they give back that way, and that to me makes it not feel genuine. Russo talked about that before, that they got to promote their philanthropy, and you could, I guess, argue that point with Mick, and then it just doesn't make it feel genuine then.
and it wasn't and it did not come across genuine. It looked like it was jumping off on the bandwagon, riding off the coattails of the girls. Yes, he probably did like Ashley Mazzaro, 100%. Nobody had a bad word to say about her. If you go through the wrestling bit, I doubt there was anybody who had to say anything bad. But then to jump off the ladies' coattails or put together that stuff and did something great, not cool, man. Not cool.
So what else do we got, man? What else you want to talk about?
Now we get to the big dog and big weekend we had. We're going to start off on Friday in Las Vegas. Everybody flying in, and Virtue, I think it was good for wrestling the whole weekend. I think it was something that was exciting. I think that it was something that was much needed. WWE had a very poor show this week as far as shows, as far as class, how to handle things in the press. And when AEW came out with all shining, with all the stars and bells and whistles, new TV deal on TNT. Great show, packed house. We'll start off with Friday with all the media. Now, did you catch anything from Friday that caught you off guard? Did you like all the media stuff there, Virtue?
No, I mean, I know they had the StarCast stuff and they were doing all their promotional stuff. And I think they had enough of that going in. I mean, they did one of those StarCasts back at All In Chicago, and they're already scheduling StarCast 3 when they go back to Chicago later this year. So to me, those fan conventions, those media things, I guess it makes the weekend feel more important, because WWE does it for WrestleMania, and I think SummerSlam too. But to me, it was just going through the motions and the wrestlers showing up and the meet and greets. It wasn't anything spectacular. I know a lot of people pulled out of there because WWE made them, people that were still under contract, like Angle and Undertaker.
Yeah, but Mark Henry was there. Hurricane Helms was there.
That's interesting, too. But yet some people pulled out. Now, Flair, because of health reasons.
Right. Sting was there.
Dude, what was the most shocking thing? But StarCast isn't necessarily AEW. It's still independent from that, but yet they do it the weekend that AEW does a show. But when we talk about Double or Nothing, Vito, there was one appearance that shocked the hell out of me, more than any of the media stuff. Should we talk about it now?
Go ahead.
Bret the Hitman Hart. I was not expecting that because he was just in Brooklyn doing the Hall of Fame thing for the Hart Foundation. And he was at this show showing their championship title for the first time. I could not believe that. Doesn't he have a Legends contract? Or are there loopholes? Can they still do independent bookings?
They could do independent bookings. He's not obligated. He's an independent. Hold on.
Well, you know what? WWE likes to own everybody. That's why I bring that up.
Hold on. He's an independent contractor. It's not owned. Independent contractor. He can work for anybody he wants.
Yep.
All right.
That was a good move by AEW because
I thought that was very, very, very good to have him present the new belt. And it was a beautiful belt. It wasn't put together in 2 minutes like other belts. And instead of having, they had Mick Foley do their Tonka toy belt, and they had Bret Hart bring out this prestigious belt, a beautiful belt, and make it like a ceremony like you've never seen before with the people that went crazy, the packed house in the MGM Grand. You're talking this was totally, soup to nuts, 100% blockbuster, excellent move.
You know what else they did during that segment? They were putting two of their younger guys over. They had Hangman Page out there, and then the other guy, I can never remember his initials, but he's the loudmouth that's in Gimmick 24/7. And Bret, when he was cutting a promo on Bret was trying not to laugh. So Bret was popping inside. I liked how they had their younger stars that might be down the road going for that title right there featured in that segment with Bret the Hitman Hart. I thought that
Bret was giving him the rub, and I think it was great that he was interacting with them. If you're going to have Bret Hart there, might as well get the most out of him, and they did. Guys, good move by AEW bringing Bret Hart and bringing a new title. It was definitely better than the WWE and Mick Foley bringing in that ridiculous title, which means absolutely nothing. And like I said, they should have brought a TV title back. You would have got more bang for your buck. Guys, retire your gimmick. Retire the friggin' belt. Please do wrestling a favor and just bring a TV title back and just let it go. But
you know what else? Speaking of titles, sometimes you don't need a title. And you know why? There was a match. And I was actually telling people on No DQ, this match is going to be special. And some people blew it off like, it's just Goldust and Stardust, but it's Dustin and Cody. And I said, nah, man, this is their own stage. This is Cody's stage. This is for them. Look, Dusty's going to look down on this. That's what they're performing, not for the fans. They're performing for Dusty upstairs.
right.
Look, that this was a masterpiece, Vito. When was the last time you saw Getting Color that much? Where it was Dustin was pouring blood. That was the biggest symbol I've ever seen for an upstart wrestling promotion. They're pouring their blood for this company and respect and tribute to their father. WWE did not allow them to do this on that stage. And they're like, F you, WWE, we're going to do it here. That was awesome, Vito. What's your thoughts on Cody and Dustin and the red crimson mask mixed with the sweat? I haven't seen anybody for years with that much blood on their face and in the ring.
I thought it was from the highlights I saw and everything I seen. Congratulations, boys! You put it together. It was a good match, and it showed that everybody, they got things to say about Dustin, like as far as you're too old, you can't do it. Dustin Rhodes wasn't named the natural for nothing.
Yep.
He is a natural in the ring. Could be the greatest worker in the world. Just never got to that pinnacle where he was a top flight performer until he got the Goldust gimmick that made him more famous than anything.
Didn't Vinny Rue help him with that, kind of, sort of? I believe so. Vince Russo.
Yeah, I think so. So, and when you talk about like a guy like Cody Rhodes trying to make his mark, being ridiculed, he got a lot of chances in WWE. Mostly because his father's Dusty Rhodes. So they tried. And he was cut short, handcuffed, tied. He didn't make the cut, and he just didn't do it. And there the guy goes out, goes on the indie scene, hooks up with the Young Bucks, starts to make his way. Now, nobody could say he didn't do it. You know what I mean? And he's getting to be himself, and he's coming out, forthright. But when you get a chance to do something with your brother and both of you are cut from the same cloth and you grow up in the business and you're able to go out there and tear the house down because you know each other, you probably wrestled each other millions of times and you just know, and see the innovative moves that they come up with in a psychology that's wrestling 101.
Yep.
Guys, you want to know another brother tandem who's had good matches, and I'm talking good matches where they tear the house down when they wrestle each other? Eddie Colon and Carly Colon. And they went back and forth, and they've had some really good matches in Puerto Rico. And nobody would think, Carlos Colon's sons. And when those guys get a chance to go out there and do it, those guys go out there and do it.
That's a good point. I almost thought you were going to say Randy and Lanny, but I'm just kidding. Vito, I'm going to ask you this. There was a point in time where you said Cody couldn't make it in WWE because he wanted to be the big fish in a little pond.
Right.
And he left WWE because so do you still believe that? Or do you think now Cody actually maybe in WWE wasn't motivated enough to show that he could do this, and now outside on this stage, do you still believe what you said in the past? Because I think it was on No DQ, or do you change that a little bit? And I believe
I'm going to stick by my guns.
Yeah, okay.
I said that at No DQ because that was in front of me then. Then when you look back, he has grown in the wrestling industry.
Yep.
To better himself, to put himself in a position to where he is now. He's running a company. He's actually wrestling 10 times better than he ever did. He's able to be passionate, okay? And he's put on a stage where, you know, he has the spotlight and he's doing the right things with it. Now, you could have the spotlight and fumble, but so far, so good.
Yep.
Congratulations. I'm happy that you and your brother got to do this, and I'm happy that you and your bro are sharing in this, because if you can't share this with your own brother, then you can't share nothing. It's just like Booker T and Stevie Ray.
Yep.
Two brothers.
And there's always room to grow, Vito. Like if you can't sway certain people at one point of your career, but then you get better and then you end up showing those people, hey, I can be everything you didn't think I could be. Cody's probably a good example of that. And we're not saying he's all-time, one of the greatest all-time, but I mean, hell, is Cody Rhodes? I think he's better now than when he was with the Federation.
Yeah, I think he's better now than he was with the Federation. I think he's better now than what he was. He's grown.
Yep.
Okay. Now, that was a great match, and that was probably the highlight of the show. I got to see highlights of the Young Bucks, and I really haven't seen them wrestle too much. But some of the stuff they did, wow, really cool. Really, really cool, innovative stuff, and high flying and being athletic like that.
Yep.
You know, good stuff.
You know, and I'm okay with that, Vito. The Rockers used to do it. But at sometimes I just I can't suspend my disbelief anymore when I just see all these crazy maneuvers executed, but I see these guys kicking out. It's like, so what really hurts them? Because I grew up watching wrestling in the 80s and 90s, and that was still old. So I'm like 50-50 on the Bucks because it's just still a little too over the top for me.
But you got to remember, they're wrestling guys in their own realm of being a flippy, floppy guy and doing what they're doing. So they're wrestling guys their own caliber and their own style and brand of wrestling that makes them look like they are the mainstream players that they are. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm not knocking them. They have done everything that you could possibly do to ignore the WWE and all their advances and be successful, which is something that people don't do right now, because when you get the chance, everybody jumps there. You look at Carl Anderson and Gallows, right? They were in Japan. They were with these guys. They've been made laughing stocks at the WWE. And if they were over here with these boys, they'd have a regular spot and they'd have something.
Some of these people are going to not sign their extensions, Vito, and they're going to leave. You know it.
And the one thing that we could look at, right, for all the WWE people who tweeted and put that this was a great show and way to go, and I think they're going to suffer repercussions for coming out and saying something about the opposition. I really do.
What do you think about, and I agree with you because you know how WWE likes to punish. What do you think about Renee Young, Ambrose's wife, and Natty, Brett's niece? Do you think they didn't really go out and say too much, I don't think, on Twitter, but because they're directly related to two of the big spots from Double or Nothing, do you think WWE pulls the dick move and punishes both of them?
Well, Natty, I mean, it's Uncle Brett. Her father died. He went to do an event. Now, if she would have showed up and when it was caught on camera, all hell would have broke loose and just said, okay, you're done. But, I mean, congratulating somebody because they did something cool, I can't see you getting in trouble, right? But WWE is their own worst enemy, you know. As far as the Jon Moxley thing.
Well, I want to talk about Alpha Omega too, first of all, because that'll lead to the Jon Moxley thing. Jericho Omega. It wasn't as good as their first match, and it's usually hard to top that type of stuff too, because they were under pressure being in the first main event of AEW, following Cody and Dustin. Well, not directly, but it was a couple matches later. I still think it served its purpose. I know there was a botch late in the match on a DDT, and they kind of circled back around and ended up doing the spot, which I'm shocked, Vito, because I always thought when you botch something, you don't go back to it to do it. You move into something else.
I mean, it does happen, but them guys, them guys are old pros. Jericho's a pro. I mean, they covered it up. They did it. They got it through.
Jericho went over, which I thought was great. Establish your heel first. And then he cut the promo of all promos. And we know Jericho's an ace on the mic. He had the balls to call the fans marks. He said AEW was not built for you. It's built for me. He was branding himself as that top villain. Hollywood Hogan, maybe not quite, but I got that vibe, and I love this Chris Jericho. It's old school, Vito. He didn't even show up to his StarCast presser afterwards, so there were fans that were let down. You know what he did instead? Because he didn't get his thank you, which was part of his promo. He sent a cardboard cutout of himself to stand in his place. That is heel 101. I commend Chris Jericho. That's what I took away from this. And guess what it led to, Vito? A bigger pop, in my opinion. That promo Jericho did after the match, a bigger pop for Moxley when Moxley showed up and cleaned house. What do you take?
And the eruption that happened when he came in the crowd, and the way he came in and he took out that established everybody, and that made the company real, because here's the new guy on the block. He took out Jericho, he took out Omega, the two big guys, and he's standing on top. Really, I mean, after the WWE jobbed him out and made him look foolish and buried him, and here he comes and he's the top dog of somebody else's company on a major pay-per-view and going into a new company with a TV deal? How stupid do you look?
And guess what happens before the next TV deal? All Out in Chicago. Do you think it behooves both parties, AEW and Phil Brooks, CM Punk, to at least get together? I know CM Punk might just hate the wrestling business. He might not want, but seriously, to stick it to WWE, to have that special moment, even if Punk only signs like a 5-appearance deal and very limited, kind of like Jericho did with New Japan. Do you think it behooves both of those parties to work something out? I do. I seriously do.
I would tell you something.
Yep.
They got Moxley, right? So that's a coup. They got Jericho. He's a big name. He's the name. They bring in CM Punk. And they're going on TV with Punk and Jericho and Moxley and the Young Bucks and Cody and this one and that one and
Omega, yep.
And Omega. You're talking about star power that the WWE doesn't have. What star power how do they match that star power? I'm not knocking the guys who think they're stars at WWE, but when you're talking about star power up here, that's going to make you turn your head and not make you turn the TV off because your match is going to suck.
Because, yeah, you're right. WWE does not allow guys to be stars anymore. It's like they got rubbed the wrong way because The Rock went to Hollywood. Stone Cold successful after wrestling. Cena. And that pisses Vince off. And this new model is to make these NXT wrestlers that never, Roman Reigns included, as much as I like the guy, they don't allow anybody to be bigger than the WWE. And guess what? It's finally catching up to WWE. I know you will agree.
That's because they have no stars to portray. And I said this a long time ago. They have the capabilities, and people listen to me because I know what I'm talking about because I've been in the wrestling business 27-something years. And I've worked for every single company in the world. And I've worked with all the guys. I've worked in the back, and I've seen it. I've lived it. I've drank. Okay? They have the capabilities to make new stars and use the old stars that they have to give them the rub and mold them into the up-and-coming stars that are today, and they refuse to do it. They could have had Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. I would still hope that The Undertaker shows up in Bray Wyatt's dreams in this new gimmick, change them back to Bray Wyatt, brings them to the underground, and all they're doing is digging hole, and it could be so awesome. You have Bret the Hitman Hart there, who's sitting there, legend. You have so many legends who are out there that could be managers or could be could do things with the young guys today that they don't do it. Instead of
like the only one they want to try to give the rub is Triple H. And at that point, you can't give everybody the rub. So it gets boring and stale.
No, but you don't understand. If you're not developing anybody to do it, right now they're not doing anything. And the guys that bring it up of an NXT, remember, they have a character, they have a persona in NXT, and when they come up to the main roster, their persona from NXT is exonerated because it's not what Vince wants, and Vince doesn't watch the product, and he's looking at him and saying, "What am I doing with these J-Bos?" And that's it. Who's the guy who got fined $250,000 for the race?
Lars Sullivan.
Lars Sullivan. That guy is not ready for nothing. He's not even on Skull Von Crush level. I swear, I'm telling you guys, and I'm not boasting, he's not even on first-year Skull Von Crush level at the WWF.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, I mean, it feels rough. It feels like they rush these NXT stars to the main roster, and then either they're not ready, their gimmick doesn't get over to the casual or the mainstream audience, or Vince McMahon says, "Nope, I don't like it, pal."
And who right now? And even Roman Reigns, who has been pushed to the moon, is still not selling out houses.
Now, here's my philosophy on that. They castrate him. It's like Roman goes out there with duct tape on his mouth, which, by the way, I did an indie show, and I came out with duct tape on my mouth.
I saw it.
A lot of people love that. And he's got his handcuffs behind him. That's WWE not allowing Reigns to be cool because there's no great people creating and producing these guys anymore like Vince Russo used to do. And it's frustrating because I'd like to see the potential of some of these guys, Vito. Here's the thing. Roman's era, he's the force-fed guy, right? Him and Brock Lesnar. Back in any other era you go to, the main event had 5, 6, 7 people at all times, revolving doors. Sure, you had your big draw like Austin or Cena, but you still had a group of main eventers that were believable champions at all times around them. This era, the WWE Network, social media era, it's been Roman Reigns and maybe Brock Lesnar part-time, and the fans just aren't buying it. And I see what you're saying, but I do give these performers the benefit of the doubt because Vince McMahon has castrated them.
You got Rollins as the heavyweight champ, as the Universal champ.
Kofi.
And you got Kofi Kingston.
First of all, think about that. 2 champions. Which one's better? There's too much. Too much, Vito. Why do we got 2 big champions? Why do we have brands? It's a problem, Vito. And then NXT, that's its whole separate entity.
But, I mean,
too much.
I think, and like I said, Brock Lesnar is the lone star there. He's the moneymaker. That's who the people are going to come to see, he is legit the top star. Whether he's
I will not argue with you.
I
will not argue with you because as soon as he came back, their abysmal ratings did go up. Even if it was a few 100,000, it went up. I mean, I can't argue with you there.
And Brock is ratings, and listen. If I don't see Brock Lesnar on a Monday night, I ain't watching. I watch, and if I hear he's going to be on, I'll tune in. I know he's coming on at 9 o'clock. He's coming on at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Top of the hour. So I mean, or he's starting off the show. I'd rather watch Brock Lesnar than anybody else. Not because I'm a mark for Brock Lesnar, because I like his style. He's believable. I want to see what he's going to do.
I agree, Vito. I mean, Brock Lesnar has bumped up to my number 1.
And
because
you used to be the biggest Roman Reigns guy.
What's that?
And you used to be the biggest Roman Reigns guy.
I still like Roman, but I mean, ever since he beat leukemia, so kudos to him. And I hope it stays in remission. But they've kind of slow rolled him since he's been back, and they're just mid carding him right now. I mean, sure, he's feuding with Shane, but again, to me, when I see Roman, I feel bad because he literally has duct tape on his mouth and his hands are handcuffed. And
Braun Strowman is disappeared.
Oh, big time. I mean, you want to talk about somebody else? Like, you can set Roman aside. They really botched Braun. Or did they botch Braun? Did they fail Braun, or did Braun fail himself?
It's a combination of both things.
Yeah. Okay.
He had a chance to be big. And his opportunity to be big was he had to beat Lesnar one of the 5 times, and he never did it. And if the first time, all right, you weren't going to beat the second time, you should have beat him. The third and fourth time, after you lifted trucks, buildings, jumping from, and you're still not beating him.
Yep.
And I feel bad for the guy because then they make him chase these little guys. He is a big man. You don't chase people. You are the man to be chased.
Yep.
You take guys, you beat up guys, you put them to the ground, step up, who's next?
I agree, Vito. But man, what a lot to talk about. And WWE, man, they got some issues lying ahead.
They have a tremendous amount of issues.
Yeah, I mean, not just because of a competitor on the horizon, which is now here, but because they're making themselves look foolish with these cover-ups. I mean, and if we weren't physically there, we don't know the truth. But to call somebody a liar after they've passed and never said anything before when they were alive, Vito, bullshit.
I hear you, man. I hear you. All right, guys, another action-packed card that we have just went through, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Getting Color. Virtue, give me your plugs. Let's hear it.
Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. You can also go to my Facebook, NoDQ.com/Virtue. And Noel, please edit that spot in the middle of the show when my internet glitched.
Yeah, we'll work on it. And everybody just go to thebigvitobrand.com. Check out all the latest. Check out our stuff. Go to Twitter. Go to Twitch. Subscribe. Do your thing. Everybody be happy. All right. Here's the Big Vito Brand signing off. We'll catch you next week. Same time, same Bats channel.
Hey, you German? Huh? First you my wife, then you go my niece. What the